So it is theoretically possible for Team A to win the tournament if they win almost everything today. So it is theoretically possible for Team A
Aha!
to
There we
win
are.
the tournament if they win almost
Now
everything
we've
today.
got it on the Stardock stream as well.
So it is theoretically possible for
So
Team
yeah, we are in this interesting position where, because of how the bonuses play out and how adjacency plays out and such, anything is possible.
So yeah, we are
But
in this interesting position where because
some things, let's admit, are more likely than others.
Yeah, some things are less probable.
anything is possible.
Some things are not likely to happen. Other things may be a bit better
some things
chance.
are less
Obviously,
probable.
Team B and D have been fighting for the lead this whole time, and
maybe a bit
either of them, I would say, is positioned to take it. Team B in particular, with Track Pingvin doing some serious work for them, has been set up in a great position, but Team D still easily could get something done with just a little great position, but Team D still easily could get something done with just a little great position, but Team D still easily could get something done with just a little great position, but Team D still easily could get something done with just a little great position, but Team D still easily could get something done with just a little
Hello and welcome. We've got week 4 D1, so we're going to be on Mars today. Got Andreas G, Blues, and Paulina, so 4 very good players. Andreas possibly, you could say, would be the weaker of the 4, but last time I saw him play he beat T, so there we go. Okay. Here we go. This map should be an interesting one. Most of the steel is up north. There is a little patch here down south, but water is a little bit scarce. It's mostly, I mean, there's a few highs and mediums around, but I expect some people will be using ice. So we'll have to see. There's possibly, oh, aluminium was the other one. Well, the aluminium is down south. There's a tiny little bit over here as well, so a bit up north. I mean, possibly scientific here. That'd be quite nice. Possibly a weak scientist here,
Scientific
maybe.
colony founded.
Although
robotic colony founded.
you could have done. I'm surprised we haven't seen some kind of expansive down here. But so Andreas taking the scientific, as kind of expected.
Robotic colony founded.
Going for robot, which seems a little bit tight to me.
Robotic colony expanded.
And a couple of robots. I'm guessing they went the robots just because there isn't really any aluminium up here for them.
Robotic colony expanded.
So Paulina, a couple of steel mills and a metal mine. A little bit short perhaps on iron. Possibly not a problem at this point.
The black market is online.
Scientist with 1 aluminium from Andreas. Yerand makes HQ level 2. To some steel mills. Plenty of iron for him. Maybe blues.
Scientific colony expanded.
Seeing something a little bit different from blues here. A couple of quarries. Metals. I think blues is going to be in the resource business
The
for a
black
minute.
market is online.
Interesting to see how it pays out for him. Bringing in a bit of carbon, plenty of silicon. We can see some glass kilns. Not a bad move. Not a bad move at all. He's going to make some good money off the glass. Nobody else really is in a situation to make glass, so blues will have a little monopoly on that. Fortunately for him, there are another 3 steel users, so hopefully he'll be alright. Get the other players to make the steel for him. Paulina, decent amount of steel there. Nothing major, but you can see the price of steel is going to rise. Andreas moving, he's got the farms. I mean, farm food did start double, so he's going to make some good money out of those if he can keep those up and running. Andreas possibly buying a goon squad would be a sensible purchase, but he's missed the opportunity for a cheap one. In blues, no. Blues was targeted by a squad. And he's on the back here on his medium aluminium. Possibly an odd choice of where to put your goon squad,
Robotic
but
colony expanded.
around up to HQ3, just off the back of his huge steel production here. Bring a tiny bit of aluminium in, he's going to bring some silicon in, and a couple of solar panels. Interesting that he's chosen to take his solar panels here. I wonder what the thinking is behind that. He's got plenty of space here that he could put them if he wanted. Suppose high elevation compared to maybe a lower elevation. You should see how that works out. I mean, power is high. Mainly a glass colony. There's a couple of machine shops now developing.
New
So-
land is available for auction.
Sure, let's see how that goes for everybody. Andreas perhaps to HQ3. Just keeping a hold of his claims at the moment. Not sure where he's going to decide to go with them. Possibly move into a little bit more food. Food is ridiculously high at the moment. Maybe he wants to do something with silicon, but silicon for him is such a long way away. Potentially think he's going to have issues. Blues really, well, Blues and Yaron really are the only people that are able to easily build glass at this time, so they're definitely going to make it off this glass. But Yaron's bit of silicon coming. Blues are trying to have a little pop at Yaron's solar panels there. However, catches the goon squad. Not sure if we're going to see this come back from Yaron. Decides pop that onto Andreas. Andreas hasn't got any power up at the moment, but he does have one claim. He's moved in a couple of remote glass kilns. I did not see that silicon there. That's going to be good. There are pirates available, so
Robotic colony
potentially he's
expanded.
going to have to work that to ensure that he lose too much of that valuable glass to pirates. But in B levels of debt now, 70k in the hole, so needs to be thinking about getting some power up and quick while the price of power is still reasonably high. Paulina's just been sitting quite quietly up here. Andreas now is going into geothermal. Still got one claim left which he isn't using. Having a little exchange of wind turbines down here with Blues.
The black market is online.
Doing reasonably well. Paulina just being quite quiet and hiding up. Not really pulling in a huge amount of money. Has got 3 claims to put down, so hopefully going to move to some revenue producing buildings. But Paulina doesn't have any power, so 2 wind turbines is the priority. 1 greenhouse farm. Perhaps one of these cell condensers could be rotated into a farm. Farm isn't really going to cut the mustard, although she is robotic, so Blues getting shut down by Paulina. Those electronics plants are just a little bit too profitable, so I guess a little
The black market is online.
little freeze on them, let them calm down a bit. So we've got a couple of solar panels coming down. Blues heavily committed into power, which understandable. He's taking out Yaran's power. He's going to make a bit more power money. Power is kind of remaining high.
A new claim is available for auction.
Yaran's coming in with an overload and a mutiny on one of Blues' solar panels. Definitely standing up for himself there. Andreas, we can see, has dropped into D levels of debt. It's going to be pretty painful for him. Majority of that, I imagine, just come in just because he hasn't had the power up, and power's been so expensive. That overload from Yaran's not helping at all. A little bit more expensive for those steel mills to keep operating. Andreas is going to have to do something about his debt problem. He's taking teleportation, which hasn't got a goon squad on his patent lab. He's pretty fortunate. Blues has obviously seen the opportunity. Going to go in for a quick buy. Andreas, well, he's got a little bit of cash and he has managed to defend himself. So Blues going to sell out, I expect. Anybody else? I mean, Paulina possibly he could move into. Around. Although both of these players do seem to have enough in the bank
The
to
black
cover
market is online.
any attempt by Blue to take them down. Blue's moving into some greenhouse farms, but he doesn't seem to have any water to be able to support them. So he's a little bit vulnerable there in case the price of water spikes. Paulina juggled some of her claims
Robotic colony
around,
expanded.
playing it pretty safe.
Scientific colony expanded.
Andreas, what are we going to see out of Andreas now? He's moved into a high water pump. see it followed by a
Robotic
second.
colony expanded.
Possibly not the best idea. Certainly you don't want to be selling water down, seeing as Blues doesn't have a source of water to support his farms. It's getting into a hacker array. I imagine we're going to be seeing some electronics hacks out of Blues. Be doing reasonably well. I mean, power has been pretty high. It hasn't really come down at all. Around 2 remote solar panel locations, so you're also looking to profit a high power price, and the power price we do see now is going to drop a little bit. Around choosing carbon scrubbing, which will certainly open up his options a little bit. Again, though, he's going to be quite restricted in the way he places buildings. There's also Blues as find salted water. Going to be shipping it quite a long way. It'll be quite expensive for
land
Blues.
claim available to the highest bidder.
Yeah, it's going to be using a lot of water, a lot of power to transport that water. Extra claim. Blues no debt, so he possibly could afford to take this for 24k. Paulina, though, choosing to take it off his hands for 28. And she's not in too much debt, though. He does double her debt by taking that, so obviously does have a use for it. He's also moving into a patent lab, a couple more condensers. It's kind of hard to see how Paulina's really making a huge amount of money. Quite expensive to get those electronics for the upgrade.
The black market
Scientific
is
colony
online.
expanded.
Upgrade is about 90k.
The patent lab is
Long way
constructed.
off.
Let's get our science on.
Andreas picks up a superconductor, which doesn't seem to be doing him a lot of good, quite honestly. Did beat Yeran to carbon scrubbing. He picked up teleportation very, very early. And moving down here, we'll do maybe some labs coming down. Labs wouldn't be too bad, would be reasonably profitable at the moment. Reactors are probably carbon quarries. And he is bringing carbon quarries in, so he's going to be making a decent amount of money off these. 300 odd a second coming in. And he owns carbon scrubbing, so interesting to see where he's going with that. Though he is going to have problems with his debt. I don't see bond rating at the moment. Blues, though, is sitting on a huge pile of cash. I do wonder whether he's going to have a little go at Yerand.
Our hackers have compromised the trading servers.
He does have
Price
enough money
manipulation
to
begins
buy out
shortly.
Yerand if he wanted to. Yerand doesn't really appear to be making a huge amount of money. He has got money saved up. He probably would be able to defend himself if Blue did choose to have a go. But Blues instead choosing to hacking chemicals at the moment. He's burning quite a lot of power on his freight and everything. He's had to move out of his solar panels, so longer term for Blues, he's a bit of a power deficit for him. To see how that goes. He could always rotate back into the windmill if he wanted to. Blues now at nearly 200k in cash. Everybody else quite far behind. Aaron's got 40, Paulina 45. Andreas buying a share. And another claim auction. Only auction a tile at the market. Wow. Andreas nearly picked that up cheap. Paulina again paying 28k for a claim. That's still 50k, so we're at 70, 80k in debt. Potentially worrying. I mean, these aren't the best wind turbines I've ever seen. Strong and moderate, so power though not so good. Yerand in a little bit of trouble here. Blues has seen his opportunity, and he looks like he's going to pick up Yerand. Majority buy. There it is. Blues now in a pretty decent position. The other two players now are going to really have to focus Blues down. I mean, you can see his stock price is nearly double Polina's. Andreas isn't too bad, but Andreas is in a little bit of debt. Near 100k in debt, so he needs to start making his scientific claims pay. And he just doesn't seem to be making a huge amount of money at the moment. His reactors are about the best thing he's got. 50 apiece. Arms are doing okay, steel doing okay. Looks to me like he is going for some off-world markets, judging by that thinking machines. Off-world market's looking pretty good, food is looking about the best. Chemicals, possibly a good launch, but
advanced our production.
the price of chemicals so high at the moment, it's not going to be so great. Electronics seems to be the market for people to really get into if they wanted to. Blues kind of not hacking anything at the moment, perhaps. Maybe just the tail end of chem shortage, so have to see what Blues' next move is going to be. Single electronics factory, a bit of a bonus next to the wind turbines, so give Blues a little bit of income. Ooh, plenty of network viruses coming down here. They're trying to spot what they're trying to spot, I don't know. Perhaps they think Blues has got a little off-world hidden around. Andreas
Robotic
not doing
colony
anything with his
expanded.
chem lab, sorry, with his patent lab at the moment, has moved into some optimizations. Going in chems, building carbon. He's transferred his chem refineries into... Sorry, transferred his carbon claims into chem refineries. I'm not sure that's exactly hugely profitable. I would have thought... I would have thought remaining with the elemental quarries would have been a better move, to be honest, but he does need the chems though. Well, he has got a patent lab which isn't doing anything, but he is getting some upgrades and some optimizations going. The colony, only Paulina seems to have chosen to take a pleasure dome, won in an auction with 28k, not the best pleasure dome, of course, with robots and a scientist. Year-end, well, sub-year-end seems to be quite profitable in glass and
Optimization
electronics.
routine successful.
Blues continuing his hacking, going for chem shortages, which I can't see it's too bad. Hasn't got any optimizations, no patents. Paulina grabs slant drilling. Why do Paulina grab slant
Our
drilling?
hackers have compromised the trading servers.
Virus.
Price manipulation begins shortly. Bandits.
I can't really see the use of having slant drilling for Paulina, but he has a decent stockpile. Yeah, choosing to rotate out of the patent lab into a hacker array. Going to try a hand at hacking, I imagine. Andreas has managed to get an off-world market up. Doesn't seem to want to put a goon squad on it though for some reason. Sorry, he has got a goon squad on it. But I would imagine that's going to quickly get blown off. I mean, network viruses are cheap. Mutinies are still
We
quite
caught the
cheap.
dirty rat trying to break our stuff.
And Blue says no. Need to get rid of that goon squad.
Our hackers have compromised the trading servers.
Can
Price
imagine
manipulation begins shortly.
that Andreas is not going to be owning his off-world market for a huge amount of time, given the price of goon squads and the comparative cheapness of mutinies, or even power stages. So I can think Blue is probably going to take it away from him right about now. No. Well,
Our
I
hackers
doubt
have
Blues will get around to
compromised
it
the
at some
trading
point.
servers.
Is available for
Price
auction.
manipulation begins shortly.
Blues back into some solar panels, given the price of power. Backing down carbon. unless Andreas has moved back into those carbon quarries, which he has. Andreas must be making an absolute mint off those. Pretty decent tiles, those 2 carbon quarries. Wow. Andreas is making good money, but sadly he's kicking around in D levels of debt. He does own a superconductor. Why silicon's reasonably cheap, why these steel mills haven't been turned into
Revolting
some
colony expanded.
lovely solar panels, I don't know. Definitely be a way to get his debt down a little
The
bit,
black
make use of
market is
superconductor,
online.
and get his power price down a little bit.
The engineers have
And
advanced our
Blues
production.
takes the full market. Andreas takes it back. I'm sure Blues is going to have it again. No, he's on cooldown.
Our
Our
hackers
methods
have
continue to
compromised the
improve.
trading service.
So Andreas
Price
prepared, has a
manipulation
mutiny in
begins
stock
shortly.
in case he
Shipment
needs it.
launched. Look at all the money.
He does seem to be doing okay though. 37k launches though, so it dropped off slightly. It's an expensive off-wheel to put up, I think, so whether it's going to pay back for Andreas, I don't know. But it's definitely time for the other two to be thinking about taking out Blues. Andreas here, with about similar amounts of cash. Andreas owning all his own stock. I kind of think the time to buy into Blues is about now. Andreas could snap some of these shares up quite nicely. I mean, Blues can defend himself easily, but he's got most of his money in cash. He's not hacking with it. There we go. Pauline and Andreas choosing to go into Blues. 50-50 at the moment. And Pauline taking that third share to have a majority of those 5. Pauline has slipped down into D-debts. Blues wind turbines, although reasonably good,
Our
not really
hackers
covering.
have compromised the trading servers. Price manipulation begins shortly.
So she's making okay money, but doesn't seem to be making a huge amount. Hacker array not running, optimization center not running. One optimization in power. So I don't know. I'm not 100% sure if I like what Paulina's done with her tiles here, but there we go. So look, Blues getting overloaded as he should be. He needs to be shut down as much as possible. Andreas loses his off-world, takes it back, and he has a second one up and running. Again, I'm not hugely convinced. He's making okay money,
Off-world shipment launched. Look
but
at all the money.
I can't help thinking optimised food would be so much better for. Get 2 optimisations in it. Potentially a third, maybe.
Off-world shipment launched.
Kind
Look
of
at all the
think chemicals need that. I think Andreas may. He has carbon scrubbing, so definitely have those 2 as chemical labs. I imagine he is bringing in some chemicals, but not a huge amount. Check his optimizations. Andreas has been busy with the optimizations.
Optimization routine successful.
Bringing in money. Andreas isn't looking in a too bad position here.
The black market is
Out of everybody
online.
who's got the most cash, he owns a decent bit of Blues, and Blues is kind of forcing his hand here. Andreas is going to need 700-800k to take out
Look
Blues,
at all
but
the money.
potentially he's halfway there. Potentially. Perhaps looks likely Andreas can take out Blues. And then he only has Paulina to deal with. Paulina, well, move some other claims around, so looking a little
Off-world
bit better.
shipment launched. Look at all
Let's have
the
a little
money.
look
I
at
hate those filthy bandits.
optimizations. Paulina, a little bit behind the optimizations. I'd like to see a lot more optimizations out, especially at Sol 9.
Revolting
Blues
colony expanded.
selling out of one of Andreas' shares. I think
The
Andreas
engineers have advanced our production.
should... He needs Oh, that's Paulina.
Our
Andreas
methods
needs
continue to
727.
improve.
He's got a bit tied up in his off-world launches. Those two food launches are going to come through. 8kp, 70k, so she should be up about 680.
Your stock is being sold.
Blues desperately trying to delay the buy by just selling a share here and there, hoping Andreas is going to invest into himself. But as we can see, Andreas is...
Your stock is being
Look at
sold.
all
There
the
we go.
money.
Andreas has got a red button on Blues should he want it, but he's choosing to protect his own stock.
Off-world shipment launched.
Not a bad
Look at
strategy, I
all the
suppose.
money.
Yaran, the sub, is earning some good money here. Polina, well, just hasn't got the cash. It doesn't seem to be earning the cash at the moment. Plenty of water. Gonna have to keep those water hacks going and going and going, I think. Get the price of water up a huge amount. It's gonna make a huge amount of money on it. I don't know, time will tell. Andreas really seems to be making money hand over fist at the moment. Not too bothered about the price of water. Farms are doing reasonably well.
Optimization routine successful.
Every sort of tile of his is 250, 300.
Off-world shipment launched.
Probably get rid of
Look
those.
at all the money.
No, doesn't really need those anymore. Polina exchanging stock with Andreas, which is a bold move. Andreas does need a lot more money.
Off-world shipment launched.
Paulina is quite far
Look at
ahead in
all
this
the
race. She's about halfway there, whereas Andreas is about 40% there. So perhaps that freeze on Andreas' farms is going to be crucial. Have to wait and see.
The engineers have advanced our production.
Nothing really seems to be just with the virus. Stops any rotations. Maybe Andreas was looking at time back. There's no holograms on the market. Looking for them. Polina back into a couple of farms. Condensers and making amazing money. Dust storm, if it came along now, would really be a bit of a pain.
Off-world shipment launched. Look at all the money.
Polina still with an absolutely
Our hackers
massive,
have compromised the trading
massive pile
service.
of water.
Price manipulation begins shortly.
The black market is online.
You're gonna have to, I hope, to make a huge pile on that hack, because it's getting nearer and nearer and nearer. Andreas 90% on the way there. Polina 65%, and we get a single claim, which doesn't, I don't think is going to make any difference, because Andreas, should he choose to sell down his word launches, has this game. There we go. GG to Andreas. Polina playing the magic. Yeah, I think Blues would have done a little bit better, perhaps. Obviously, we don't. I was a little bit surprised. Blues, though, did pretty well. Pretty impressed. He never took any iron and just went for it. It's kind of surprised Andreas made the comeback that he did. Yeah, let's have a look at charts and graphs. Andreas, well, I think that tells a story. Andreas made his money off world. Wow. There's a significant amount of money. I mean, it's double what Blues made on chemicals. Blues really had to make the effort there, because it was hacking it left, right and centre. Polina, well, seemed to have bought more water than money on. Just, well, Polina really didn't. Well, the optimizations, only 2 people really had any kind of optimizations, and Andreas is, I think, really told through. He was making great money on his chemicals, great money on his food. O2 was okay, but his carbon as well. An absolute fortune just bringing that carbon in. So we have productions of sales, 231k, 280k, which that's a nice little area for the carbon. Food, did reasonably well on the food. Just a question I think of Andreas made better profits than everybody else. It was going to be a tight one, that was a pretty difficult map. And unfortunately victim to the majority buy, so didn't have much of a impact on this game. Have a look. Blues was obviously blues. Yeah, Giant Spot was okay. I mean, it very nearly didn't work out. I mean, Andreas was in pretty serious amounts of debt early on, so I don't think that scientist spot was necessarily stronger than, well, it probably was stronger than the majority of facts, but there's still scientist. There were a lot of opportunities to knock that scientist down, so anyhow, right, let's move on to the next one. Okay, hopefully my mic should be a little bit louder. I boosted it up a little bit. Maybe I could just move it closer to my face. That would probably be easier. So maybe I could turn it down again. Okay, hopefully that's good. We shall see. I think I've got everybody in my group. Everybody seems to be okay over there. Oh good, thank you, please. Great to hear everybody can hear me mumble clearly. Okay, so Blues is over on Stardock with Andreas, Yerand and Paulina. Basically a replay of what they did earlier. Well, what we just did. So we should have in my group Hexapus, Dubin, Jim Bob and Death Tacticus. Hexapus. Game Slayer is joining me. Fantastic. Oh, bom, bom. Game Slayer. Let's phone him up. Hopefully he will appear. Hello. Why? You're coming through on my monitor. That's no good. Output device. There. Try saying something.
Saying something.
Oh, nice. That's better.
Good.
Yes, yeah, I can hear you with my headphones now.
I'm gonna be super salty for this cast. It's gonna be great.
How did your game go?
I bought out 2 people, and then the third guy bought me.
Oh, unlucky.
3 game ticks. Subs handful of goddamn off-world.
Oh well.
Maybe I should have black marketed. Black market was like 60k on the market, and I didn't want to risk that. Just very tiny things got me those 3 game ticks.
Oh dear. Oh well. It's close ones sometimes, those are generally the funnest ones. Was anybody streaming your one?
No. I wasn't streaming it.
Send it to Phil, he can do a replay on it.
No. There was a lot of really small things. Really small things. But if I combine all of those, then it makes a big thing.
Oh well. At least you were there at the end. That's half the battle sometimes.
I'm always getting so close to winning and I'm just not. I'm 0 for 7 in this tournament.
Oh. Oh dear. Oh well, you've got another game, haven't you? So.
Yeah, but 1 out of 9 is still a terrible win ratio. 2 out of 9, that's not too terrible, but 1 out of 9 is.
Yeah, I've been in a few tournaments and never won a game. Quite embarrassing
There
sometimes.
tends to be me in all of Waffle Train Cooking tournaments these days.
Oh well.
You... Damn expansives and their perfect optimizations whilst I'm there operating off a single hacker array.
That's your problem then.
Well, that's all I could do. I just hacked the things that my subs were making and made a ton of money and bought people.
Where were you? You were on... Oh, that's one of Phil's maps.
It was a short game. Fairly short game anyway.
Oh. Right. I think... Are you ready? I'm kind of ready.
Guys, yeah, I'm ready.
Let's see if this lot are ready. And we get going. Good. 3, 2, and 1. Cool. Thank you very much for joining me, Game Slayer. It's very good to have somebody to help out.
No problem. I'm sorry it took me so long. I had to spend a long time raging after the game.
Well, that's alright. Not a problem.
It's what I do.
You played the bonus game, did you?
Yes, and I lost that.
Alrighty, this is game 4A2. We're on IO, and I got Game Slayer to help me out with some code commentary. What do you think of this one?
I'm here to help out a Morgan. And what are these prices at the start? Those are some pretty high prices.
Yes, yes they are. There's some money to be made.
Quite some money to be made. We got power up really high for a very early start. We got a lot of really good uranium and iron tiles to the left, but there's no ice really. It's all in the bottom where the building materials generally aren't. Although there's a nice ice basalt start in the bottom right hand corner. Some more, further up from it. I feel like those are the places people are going to want to found. We've got nomads and elites. Do you reckon either of those are going to be on with no silicon?
No. Perhaps we see a elite from somebody who's feeling clever, but...
Oh, that's a good science location. I really like that science location from Texas. Death Hatch, because going into the triple oxygen start, that's not as amazing as you might think because solar condensers only get 0.5 per. So I mean, 210 is pretty nice.
Scientific
Pretty
colony
nice.
founded.
That'll get him to HQ 2 definitely, and he can transition out of that. But that's not going to necessarily hold its price forever.
No,
Probably scrapping those during the night.
I think he'll do all right. It's not amazing, but he's going to do all right out of it. I mean, I'm a little bit surprised nobody went scavenger. I mean, where Jim Bob's
Scientific colony expanded.
claims that high aluminium, you can have a scavenger there feeding with a silica, with a carbon, and you got the lovely O2 right next to you. But I suppose as Jim Bob's had the basalt, it's a bit hard to make that work now.
I mean,
Scientific
yeah,
colony
ion
expanded.
condensers are already really great, as they always are on IO. I mean, just paying attention as well. Hexapus has actually also gone into the solar condenser strategy, which I do prefer for the scientific. I really like the scientific spot. For those of you who don't know, scientists can, of course, bring their oxygen straight out of the ground to feed their water processes or their glass cells. Very, very good, especially for the water processes, because you can do it during the night. So you're
Scientific
effectively
colony
using an
expanded.
entire solar condenser during the night, plus turning it into the water processes.
Yeah, scientists really powerful. I think with the ice there,
The black market
just so
is
versatile as
online.
well. He's got a nice chunk of basalt next to him as well. All that lovely O2. I mean, Hexbus should do well on that spot.
Death Tacticus now rotating out into steel mills. He's also the first one into ion collectors, which is very scary. Those ion collectors are already making a ton of money. Jim Bob with a single basalt platform for some interesting reason. Going into water processes on the ice, that makes sense. Steel or... Okay, yeah, no, good. Dubin's also going into ion condensers, although he's going into greenhouse farms, which that price is high, but that water price is higher.
And it's going to continue climbing, isn't it? It's going to be sticky, I think, for him to continue running those longer term. Waters.
Feed into each other very nice.
The black market is
Actually,
online.
we got the farms that are up that are going to be losing money soon, but Hexbus is going to be making water very soon, which will feed into that very nicely. Then the IO condenser is going to be feeding into Hexabus so that its water is cheaper, and it's all just going to be a nice little synergy between everyone. As the first one to HQ3 is the expansive.
Yeah, not surprised. I mean, I think he's going to need some glass kilns, which is slightly worrying. I mean, nobody seems to want to do anything about the price of power at the moment.
Apart from Hexapus, who's boosted his power and he's... Yep, and he gets frozen mostly, but he boosts with the Goon squads. 777 from one tile right now. That's making an absolute ton of money. That's the problem with everyone goes into ion condensers and no one goes into power.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody's going to pick the power market up though if the price stays high. And Jim Bob.
That's looking like Hexapus, but...
Yeah, I think Hexbus has got that market to himself for the minute. Only DT's got a couple of nuclear plant down. We have got holograms this go, so a little bit surprised he hasn't done his usual trick of hiding his nuclear plants with his holograms. And Dubin deciding he's going to have a little boost as well. Got some water processors up, decided to rotate it out of his... Wow, he rotated it
I
out.
like this a lot from DT, by the way. He realised everyone was moving into water process. He's just brought up fuel again. Fuel is now really high.
I'm not surprised. He wants to keep the price of fuel as high as he can.
Those water processes consume twice the amount of fuel as a chem refinery in a normal Mars game, so that's really going to be hurting.
Yeah, one fuel each, which was Dubin's not... Well, they're still profitable for Dubin. Why, I don't know.
And Hexapus is now level 4 off of that one boosted nuclear plant, still just chugging away with a ridiculous amount of money. And Tacticus, shortly afterwards, he's got this ion collectors. He's sold down his fuel at this point, which I am surprised about because he can still keep that high. But he's decided not to now.
He needs the money, doesn't he?
Yeah, but I mean, now that he's 4, does he really need to keep the money? Oh right, yeah, so Dubin has actually boosted his ion collectors now, actually. Wow, okay, Dubin really wanted to get into that market himself. A lot of money just being grabbed up there, but...
yeah, he's...
kept selling. And also, Jim Bob moved back into it. Everyone's very synergized this game, all moving into and out of the same markets. It's very interesting. So it's all about staying ahead of the pack here, and Hexbus is managing that so far, I feel. But He hasn't done any cool transitions just yet. It's in glass, which is nice. Glass is rising, and it is a glass colony. But
Yeah, I think Hexbus, I don't know, he's going to do alright, but I kind of think that the expansives have always got the edge because you've got so many more claims. There's usually plenty of money to be made on IO. It's a mutiny, this will come in very handy for anybody who hasn't got a pleasure dome, i.e. anybody except DT.
although DT's Pleasure Dome is hologrammed, and it was quite interesting just watching him as he was going through all of the different options trying to decide what to hologram it into. It made it very obvious.
Yeah, you don't usually see solar panels there at the colony, do you? But
especially ones that change to other things several times and then settle on the solar panel.
depends how many people are watching though, doesn't it?
Ooh, Hexbus. He's decided power is going to die a little bit. He doesn't want the power market very much anymore, so he's just going to grab that mutiny up and what's he going to use it for? Not a lot for a while, at least. He's going into a pattern lab. Very interesting because he's at a garage shop and an optimization spot where that's... I guess he's going to pretend that it's an optimization center. Yeah, he's going to pretend it's an optimization center and hope that he doesn't get targeted. But he's already got the goon squad on it. I feel like that might be a bit unnecessary. We'll see.
Yeah, I think he had the hologram down first, so it's always good. You get shut down by Death Tacticus. Death Tacticus wanting the O2 market for himself.
I mean, people seeing an optimization center like that are still going to try and dynamite it, perhaps, you know? It's not exactly... It's not any different of a target just because it's a pattern lab instead, in my opinion here. But...
Yeah, if electronics get a bit high, then dynamite's going to do pretty good work.
Let's get our science on.
Yeah, Hexbus has spread himself. I don't know, he's got 2 of this, 2 of that. He seems to be going alright, but I do wonder if he's going to be making enough money to really power through.
He's only HQ4 still. I thought he'd upgrade 5, but I clearly am wrong. Right there, he's got, yeah, a lot of 2s. The farms aren't making all that much money because he's making 1.5 on the food, but he's consuming 0.9 of it. He needs to go into synthetic meat if he really wants to make that work.
Yeah, synthetic meat though does a boost, doesn't it? So you're going to be double water, which is nice, but if you're not watching it all the time, it can get a little bit sticky sometimes. Jim Bob is in a pretty good position here. He's got a lot of stuff down, but he doesn't. Well, he's starting to buy his own shares now, which is probably a good idea because DT's got a huge amount of money. He definitely.
I would love, by the way, to see those solar condensers rotated out during the night for the scientists. It's really useful to do that.
Yeah, it can get a bit expensive though.
Yeah, with virus and the glass kilns, it's not really that big of a deal for DT. He is making profit on the silicon. There's also electronic shortage just about to come out with the hacker array. We'll see how much he commits to that. This guy's a steel mill, and DT really likes moving his holograms around, so you'd think that would actually be, you know, the metal mine that it should be. But that's a lot less obvious if it's your aluminium mine.
Yeah, the odd steel mill there is a little bit of a giveaway.
That is just perfect symmetry. He changed it. He did have 268 electronics at $268.
That hacker array doing good work for him though. He's going to make some nice money out of that electronics hack.
Great money. He's also in HQ5. A lot of money there. Hexbus is the only one. Oh no, Jim Bob is also HQ5. I missed a lot of HQ5 plus I was busy discussing symmetry.
Yeah.
Hexbus has not put down a lot of his claims yet. And Jim Bob's still sitting on all of his HQ5 claims as well. DT the only one spending them, knowing what he wants to do here right now.
I'm a little bit surprised that Dooman's lagging behind so much. I know he's got his upgrades. He's there last to HQ5.
I think it's just a little... The thing is, Dooman's just slightly behind the rest of the pack of scientists in his transitions, so he's just not quite getting the profit of the rest of them. Although these water processors, he is going to be the first one to put up 3 water processors, and that will be profitable. I don't know why people aren't investing in a third water processor at this point.
Yeah, as long as you can keep his fuel usage under
They are more
control.
profitable than the solar condensers right now whilst on ice.
And they're making him good money. Mainly, as you say, because they're on the ice.
Hexbus in liquid batteries first. Liquid batteries always a strong pickup on IO. However, he is frozen out, and There's a lot of ice in this game. Everyone has access to ice, so that's going to be a questionable value. Maybe you can do some, maybe you can buy it up during the night and really just ruin that price a little. I mean, that would be a very powerful move, of course. So here's hoping that other people decide to keep a stockpile. DT, the only one who's decided to keep a stockpile, and that's very small of that.
Yeah, DT, they're a little bit concerning down in sea levels of debt. If he doesn't watch out, then...
Jim Bob just riding that line very closely.
Yeah, it really works out well. I mean, Power does. We may see Power come back a slight bit, but generally Power kind of dies out on IO.
I just kind of feel bad for Dubin there. He tried to boost out his optimization centers, gets them both blown up by separate people. Dynamite's expensive.
Dynamite's cheap now.
So. Yeah, sorry, I meant that.
Goons are the expensive one. But when you consider how much it costs to repair one of those buildings, maybe Goon Squad will pay for itself.
DT is looking to crush the water market here. He's building 4 water processors at this point. It's always interesting on IO how water processors don't seem very profitable, then you add all the adjacency bonuses and they become amazingly profitable. Because the profitable part, the water part, increases a lot more than the power part.
Yeah, but you can see that Dubin, because he's got his on ice, he's making $100 more per water processor than DT is. Water's dead now. Everybody's in water.
Dying very quickly. Yep, this is very good news for Hexapus, who I believe is in synthetic meat at this point. Yeah, he is in synthetic meat at this point. DT's hack on chems, very profitable, very valuable. No one's gone into chems just yet. Has anyone actually picked up carbon in this game other than Jimbo?
Hexapus has got some carbon and he's got 2 chem refineries.
Ah, yes, a little bit of... Oh, yeah, everyone's got a little bit of carbon going in, apart from Hexapus. Apart from Jimbo, who's really committed to it, which I like to see, although without teleportation, those magnetic storms can get scary.
Yeah, I mean, there is return of claim on the black market, so you could quite easily rotate your stuff around if you wanted.
I would like to see Hexapus use that if he does end up getting the... teleportation. Oh wait, teleportation doesn't exist on this. Whoops.
Unfortunately not. Wow, DT paying some debt off there, I think. He was in a D level of debt and then he jumped up to a B.
Jim Bob's still at D levels of debt, meanwhile.
Yeah, Jim Bob looks like a nice cheap pickup.
Yeah, he's got all of his money right now is about to go through the air. All of his money through the air right now. That's 180 chems. 180 chems. And it goes in safe at home. There we go. 80k right there in the bank.
Magnetic Storms 2k for 2. Wow.
DT and Hexapus just too busy killing each other off. Players 1 and 2 have figured out who they are. And honestly, Hexapus looks absolutely terrifying to DT because from DT's perspective, Hexapus had the 2 optimization centers running for a long time. But of course, he actually had Patent Lab, which is actually even worse. So yeah, he's very scary from this point of view. And he's transitioning into a space elevator now, which of course he can do. I'll just give him that 10% a launch.
Wow, DT committing to perfect chem production in his optimization center. He's really looking at chems, I think, to make some money.
DT thinking he's elite, maybe? But, I mean, everyone is in optimization centers at this point. It is a surefire bet that this is going to be very profitable for a while yet. The colony itself, I mean, it's consuming... Oh no, this is consuming lots of fuel, plus what's consuming... Yeah, speaking of which, fuel is still very profitable at this point. I'm glad Jim Bob has noticed it, and I'm glad DT's noticed it. Because, yeah, they're starting to kill the price now, but for a while there, Hexapus and Movement just did not have... Well, no, Hexapus especially didn't have any of it. And chems, chems consume fuel. We have discussed this earlier today.
Power seems to be the market that people need to be in. We got Jim Bob in D+3, which not coming back from that. Dubin down in D, which...
Hexapus has the superconductor. He's just only got 1 nuclear plant though and water processors. I mean, he is making water. He is making power money off of that. I mean, that is profitable for him. But I would like to see a second nuclear plant.
Oh, definitely.
Rather than that metal mine, rather than that metal mine right there.
Yeah, that aluminium, he doesn't need that anymore. That needs to be, like you say, nuclear plants, and then Hexapus has got a nice little income stream. Jim Bob.
That is something you don't see very often, a rainbow stock right there. Everyone just deciding,
Space elevator delivery.
they're fighting each other, you want you dead.
I think that was a good pickup though for Dubin. That was a necessary pickup, I think.
Yeah, gave him the extra 2 claims, and he needs that to survive right now. He has been behind this entire time, and he is indeed debt. Paying some of that off with power, but food is just so contributing so much to his debt right now. It must hurt.
Yeah, if he could sneak a couple of food claims in somewhere, then that would be pretty nice for him, but...
I would like to see him transition out of those basalt as well. I mean, they are making 78 per second each, but I mean, that's not a lot on IO considering this set of markets right now. I mean, Iron Collectors themselves are making 240.
Yeah, he's gone back into water, chasing the water profits, which... There we go. He's rotated the other side of water out into some farms, so...
Okay, that's
hopefully...
fine, that's fine then. And he's improving water as well. So, you know, there you go, 270 on those. That's good money there.
Hexapus...
He's gonna need a lot.
Hexapus is levelling up against DT here. He's about 100k behind at the moment, but...
They're scared of each other at this point.
Well, I think that's going to be the fight, isn't it? Whoever wins between those two is going to be able to take on Dubin. I don't think Dubin's going to be in much of a position to get in the way of the DT Hexapus fight.
I mean, normally I would just give this one to DT, but the space elevator is a thing. DT might just run out of things to make a ton of profit on. I mean, it's about to be a night. His solar condensers aren't going to be that great, and his water processors aren't going to be that great.
Well, 54, 55k launch on O2 at the moment. That is pretty obscene. And he's got a goon squad on it, and it's hologrammed, and he's got a little bit of a boost. Not a huge, you've got 10% on it, but...
Although this solar panel is entire game is just up and running, providing a ton of money. Very nice, about a third of the space elevator.
That's not to be sneezed at all, is it? It's 327. That's bringing in for DT. And Jim Bob the Mighty, the sub, builds a space elevator as well.
DT making good use of this single hacker array. I really like the fact that he's just kept finding the markets to go into that people just aren't in, which is very, very nice to see. Both sides of this point have bought everything into each other. They are basically neck and neck for stock price, which surprises me considering Hexapus does have the space elevator up, although I wonder if transparent aluminium affect those a bit. I mean, we just saw aluminium just rise in price, and those two suddenly and that stock price suddenly jumps. So I think it does.
Dubin moves into a space elevator as well, which is
exactly what Dubin wants to see. I mean, look
there
how
it
little
is.
he's worth right now. He is so happy these two guys are fighting each other instead.
Yeah, Dubin, well, he could get snapped up with somebody's small change, couldn't he? And this is going to be an interesting race between DT and Hexapus. DT is obviously making power money from his 2 nuclear plants.
Oh, Hexapus moving into a second nuclear plant now.
It's going to be so
really
close.
Like that. It's about time. We talked about that a while back.
I think well, depending on when Hexapus's launches are going to come, that could be the decisive
Just
factor.
disappointed in you.
Yeah, I mean, Hexapus does have some territory a little weak in certain places. He could definitely be making a lot more with his territory right now. But this is awkward for DT. DT's profits, I mean, I was going to say they're low, but I mean, these electronics factories are making so much money right now.
Yeah, they're about the best thing he's got going for him. 300 apiece. And if he's hacking as well, which he is, is that hack going to finish before? And is Hexapus's launch going to come in before?
Like DT's getting it, but at the same time though, if DT lets this optimization finish in electronics, I'm worried that that'll be too much of a difference and it will offset his initial hacker array, and this might get a lot closer than you think. That is worth a lot of money that's about to go down in 5 seconds.
I think Hexapus is going to edge it because
5
he's
seconds. He's got it. He's got it.
as soon as the 3, 2, 1. Come on, there it is.
Oh, just barely. DT, just barely.
Wow, that was so close.
And he didn't even need to cancel. He didn't even have time to cancel. Well, he wasn't going to cancel the thing, so I think he was going to lose anyway. But he didn't need to. It happened a second before it actually finished. The perfect finish. Anyway, it happened a second afterwards, but still.
Yeah.
Not enough time. Not enough time. The hack just didn't come in quite in time for him.
Yeah, I think DT realised that he was just selling off electronics a tiny bit Just
now
trying to.
it's Hexbus versus Dubin. Can Dubin do what they did to me? It's gonna be tough.
I don't know. Somebody knows. There we go. Is Hexbus does know where Dubin's space elevator is. So
Dubin is in the much greater debt right now. If he doesn't pay that off, Hexbus is gonna get that cheaper stock.
I don't think Dubin can afford to repair his space elevator. 73k to repair it.
Surprise. Just disappointed
Yeah, that
in
is
you.
expensive because of that glass price and
And
that aluminium price.
the time as well.
Yeah, I mean, all of these aluminium mines at this point are all just lows. Electronics factories, of course, do use the aluminium. And ooh, Hexbus bought a boost for his space elevator. Expensive, but he knows that Dubin can't do anything about it. In his D+1 debt, finally, magnetic storms are being used to great effect because he's got a lot of shipping stuff, a lot of carbon, a lot of aluminium as well. Very profitable stuff knocking out the sky.
Space elevator delivery.
Oh, definitely.
So much money.
Hexbus, pretty sure he's going to clean this up reasonably quickly.
I don't like his transitions right now. I don't like the fact that he's transitioning into basalt when glass would be so much more profitable for him. Making 300 a second without adjacency bonuses for him. But
he's probably confident. He doesn't really need it.
no, he doesn't. There's a world of difference between the two players right now. Especially with this now D+4 debt.
That's got to be hurting the share price. We can see it dropping off.
Yeah, that's 100%.
There we go. Well, that was a very interesting game.
Yeah, god damn it, Jim Bob, I needed you to win. You was on my team.
Oh, yeah, Jim Bob, I think debt caught him just at the wrong time.
It's unusual to see everyone pile on a player, but everyone piled on a player.
Well, they could tell they were going to be neck and neck, so... Yeah, well, Dubin delivered the final blow, though, didn't he? At the... Well, it was a cheap pickup. I mean, he needed to make that pickup just to stay in the game, so... Dubin lost.
Yeah, well, he was like a full 60% behind.
Maybe they're talking about DT, I don't know. Should have sold his stock. Potentially he should have. Well, GG. Let's have a quick look at charts and graphs. Hexapus making the money there, 500k on his space elevators. DT making a decent amount on electronics. Did have to buy a huge pile of electronics as well. Entertainment value was...
Well, you know, he's a hacker.
Yeah, he likes to play with them, doesn't he? Definitely neck and neck. But well done to Hexbus. It's about time he had a good win, and that was a good win.
Yeah, just... Jim Bob made... Apparently Jim Bob's business revenue was minus 70k. You generally don't see people dying quick enough to be in minuses.
No, a lot of optimizations from people. Dubin with 20, 14 for DT, 13 for Hexbus. And Jim Bob had 4. Patents... I don't think patents made a huge... Well, Superconductor did great work for Hexbus.
Superconductor, synthetic meat, and
Transparent
aluminium to get it up. I feel like liquid batteries also probably played a part, but it just didn't feel as much because those might be made everywhere, not just in oxygen.
Well, him being a scientist as well, liquid batteries wasn't essential for him, but with oxygen...
I mean, he could have instead used those for solar panels. I mean, maybe that was preferable to the nuclear plants, but he didn't go that route.
Yeah, it was good to have liquid batteries, though, as oxygen was the launch.
That's true. No, food was the launch, really, because, I mean, it's much easier to make food.
Yeah, but at one point oxygen was like $50 a time.
Yeah.
And that's what he was shipping. So, good. GG. On to the next one. You're playing the next game, aren't you?
I am indeed.
Well, thank you very much for...
Please let's not go 0-9.
Thank you very much for coming and giving us a hand. Much appreciated. I need to put on all the new seeds, so I'll catch you in a little bit.
Yep, see you later.
Cheers, Games there, bye.
Been classy, if classy's around at this point, and Game Slayer. So we'll have to see. Particular are strong players. So we're hoping for a good match. Let's see. To go ahead and answer Hydropona's question earlier, yes, Year-End did have virtual reality. It was the only... No, he got 2 patents, apparently. Thinking Machines and virtual reality. One thing I wasn't really paying attention to, yeah, Off-World's not just coming into play that game for the most part. I mean, yeah, the subsidiary got 1 eventually, I guess. That's fine, but not a super important building, as it turned out. I'm pretty sure the Pleasure Dome was actually more profitable than the Off-World was, even at the end of our game there. Let's see if I can... 42,000? Ah, that's getting closer. I'm not going to do the math to figure that out on stream, because it's never going to go well. Don't do math on stream. It's bad. It's like one of those core rules. I'm still surprised by this. I mean, the fact that Blues managed to get this by on Andreas. Andreas had the game in his hands, potentially. Being able to take down Year-End. He got some cheap stock early. That was hugely beneficial for him. Just a little slow. Just a little slow getting it done. No, I can't toggle these off right now. That's sad. I do like doing stuff like looking at this carbon tile, though. Oh, boy. I lost the stream, but I don't seem to be dropping frames at the moment, so I don't know what's going on there. See if we can figure it out. Thankfully, we're during a break right now. But I like looking at just this carbon line. You can see carbon just constantly spike, 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 spike. Just a difficult resource to get a handle on in a game like that. And so that's why I love nanotech so much. It's chemical spike. Somebody just playing around a lot. And Steel, I don't even know what happened here, quite frankly. I'm assuming subsidiaries did ridiculous things here at this point. Still. interesting way for that resource to finish out the game. What is this? This glass here? Yeah, glass. And glass did expectedly get out of control eventually just because of the limited silicon and the fact that everybody was delayed getting into it. Kept that resource profitable throughout the entire game. Nanotech, it'll get the job done. I love nanotech. I still think nanotech is... A lot of people respect nanotech, but I still think it's a little underpowered. Or not underpowered, excuse me. Underappreciated as a patent. It'll get work done for you. 90 building game was just ridiculous, Blues. So it looks like all of our other lobbies are being hosted at this point, which means I imagine we'll probably be getting into the next game just about as soon as Philotanic is back.
Yeah, sorry about that delay.
No, you're fine.
Okay. I'm just pestering people who have not uploaded their replays from round number 1.
Makes sense.
Lobby is up. Alright, while we're waiting for everyone to fill this lobby, I need to check in and see if Classy ever showed up or if they're still subbing.
Yeah, that was my concern. Oh, Game Slayer's on tilt. Alright, should be fun. That said, I mean, these days, it feels like you could basically say, Game Slayer's playing Off-World Trading Company. Game Slayer's on tilt.
Okay, so Hexabus is playing for Classy. And it's not letting me kick the
random.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Here we go. Nobody's complaining, so I'll just put myself to observer. And then I'll hit the button. Okay, welcome to game 4A3 on IO again, which should be interesting. Just wait for some other players. I want to fill Atlantic's maps, so we shall have to see. And here we go. We've got Andreas G, Hydroponos, Zicarus, and Adorfield. And it is a, well, power colony, it seems it's going to be. Power and fuel. Looks expensive. Not the most generous map. A few spots, double geotherm if anybody spots it. Scavenger available, expensive. Scientist, excuse me, an elite. Does seem to be, wow, very nice elite spot perhaps there. Possibly squeeze something in there. Nobody jumping in as yet. Probably this spot's about the best. Maybe you could do some kind of scientist if you didn't want that. But Adorfield sensibly going for a scavenger found. Gonna have to import his aluminium in for a little way away, but I suppose his next colony could do some stuff with it. Andreas G decided to go for an expansive spot.
Expansive colony founded.
Shame he didn't really be bold and go for an elite. That would have been quite a nice elite spot to see. But there we go. Expansive's probably the better choice anyway. Zicarus as well deciding expansive is for him. A couple of steel mills, metal mine, and I'm imagining a high aluminium, which perhaps a Dorafield would have wanted, except he takes one all the way over here. Wow. Quite surprised that Dorafield didn't pick one of these up much closer. He could have done it if he had the time, I'm sure.
Expansive colony
Maybe he didn't spot
The
it.
black market is online.
Andreas G, the first to HQ level 2, quickly followed by Hydroponus, who is also an expansive. Ooh, he's operating on some really low carbons down here. Easy access to oxygen,
Expansive colony expanded.
and double GOs, I think, are going to be his, maybe. He's going out to grab some more carbon in, so wouldn't be too bad for him, but a slightly weaker spot perhaps. He's going to have to work hard to get everything up. I mean, power surges, so if everything's close together for him, he potentially could have some problems there. I'd like to see somebody else snap up that other geotherm just to stop Hydroponus, but Hydroponus does have another claim. He's got 2 more claims which he's sitting on at the moment. Aluminium perhaps would be sensible for him, but again it's quite a way away. No return of claims on the black market at the moment. Ziracus moves into some ion collectors. Just one. I imagine it's going to have a little partner with it soon. Nothing really making great money. Black market is kind of stuck here, a long way from everything. I mean, if you want silicon, it's quite a long way. There's no basalt. And a Dorafield grabs the second geothermal, which Hydroponus is probably a bit grumpy about, but Hydroponus did have spare claims, so taking those 2 lower aluminiums instead, which I might have been taking a chance on that second geotherm rather than those aluminiums. Well, time will tell. We'll see. A Dorafield ticking along. He's moved into a couple of nuclear plants, which power is really high at the moment, so they're going to be pretty good for him. Zucru's also into a geotherm. And Andreas G, it's a couple of metal mines, not doing, he's doing solar panels. It's quite cheap. So it should be some reason with 3 solar panels for Andreas G, who is the only player to be at HQ level 3, so the only concern with those is goon squads are quite expensive. Dynamite's quite cheap, but we'll have to see. There are mules on the market as well. You can gain 400 of a resource by using a mule, so I would have preferred to see Hydroponos actually mule those and use those claims for something else. And Andreas G gets a spy down on that geotherms just to see what the state of play is with them. A lot of goon squads out at the moment, 10k a piece. Andreas G grabbing a power surge. I wonder where we're going to see that used. Dorafield's got his bits and pieces covered. Ziracus has got his power covered, so we should wait to see. Power dropping off a little bit at the moment. Potentially the next move, glass would be a good market if somebody had some silicon. Although those iron condensers, wow, are going to be making a decent amount of money here during this radiation storm. 100% bonus to them. Andreas at the moment is, Zucrus is selling down. Really? Is it not filled in? Oh, you should be able to see it. Okay, so should be Blues up and running in his game. Unfortunately, I didn't click out of the cell, so it wasn't visible. Well, Andreas has the HQ level 4 upgrade if he should like it. Dorfield's got a little bit of cash, so maybe Andreas will be a little bit cautious, although he does own an extra share, so should be good. A pretty cheap Pleasure Dome location going down, I suppose. That was probably worth 14k. Couple of too expensive as well, so that Pleasure Dome's going to be pretty tasty, I would imagine. 180. Two adjacencies, probably about 210, 220. So very good Pleasure Dome if power stays down here like it is at the moment. Andreas just not taking his upgrades just yet. Perhaps he's a little bit concerned about Dorfield, who has got an absolute pile of cash. Most of it has from his sensible investment in food and sensible investment in water. Andreas and Adorfield both go up to HQ4 at the same time, so there should be no malarkey there, but Adorfield still has a huge pile of cash. Yeah, that water freeze on his farms are going to be pretty painful for him. A little bit surprised going into a pay. A little bit surprised he hasn't gone into a couple of iron collectors. I mean, he's burning a lot of fuel at the moment. That could be a little area of improvement for him, perhaps. I mean, with 86k, I mean, Zacrus is looking like an easy pickup. Hydroponus is looking like an easy pickup. Dorfield, well, last time we watched him, he was not very aggressive. He had the opportunity, the last time I saw him play, to buy a few people out, maybe getting a little bit aggressive and go for some early buyouts would be beneficial. Hydroponus, feeling the pressure, gets a couple of shares in himself. Just to make the upgrade to HQ4 a little bit sensible. And Hydroponus having a little rotation, I think. Got some iron collectors going down. One claim left. Could possibly go for an extra rank 2. We'll have to see what Hydroponus is up to. Zacrus also up to HQ level 4. He's popped into some farms. Got a little bit of carbon production going. A nice triangle of iron collectors, which are pretty damn profitable at the moment. This water should be making great money for him. If the price of water stays down, those farms are going to be pretty damn profitable. And Dorfield really far out in the lead, about 100k up from everybody else. And he's having a little go at Zacrus, who fortunately at the moment does not have the money to defend himself. He might be able to snap up a second share, but I think Adorfield has pretty much got this buy, barring some unforeseen circumstances. Zacrus close, very close to defending himself there, but Adorfield just with the upper hand. That's good. I like to see that. A little bit of aggression there. His farms crucially made a crucial profit for him earlier, even though they got frozen a couple of times. I think Zacrus is going to be a pretty good sub for Adorfield. Scavenger needing to take action early, get an early advantage, because Scavengers are not the best late game. Hydroponus probably also going to be feeling the pressure. Moved into some glass kilns, nicely profitable. Hasn't got any food going, which, given the price of food and the amount he's burning, 400 a second, losses off food. I mean, somehow he needs to get into some food if he can. Even, well, there are pirates, I mean, possibly even remote food on the aluminium would be an option. But Andreas now getting aggressive onto our Dorfield, but unless Hydroponus chips in as well, they're not really going to threaten a Dorfield. Although Dorfield's kind of been hitting the money makers at the moment. His farms, which are providing the majority of his income, unfortunately offline and freeze. There's some water processors going, 250 a piece, so they're making fantastic money for him. And he's just got one little oxygen coming in. He's shipping a long way for that aluminium as well. We shall see Andreas slipping into D levels of debt. He's using his hacker array to hack silicon. Doesn't have a huge amount of silicon coming in.
Colony expanded.
Got a couple of elemental quarries coming down. So he's going to increase the amount of silicon that he does have, but the glass here is going to chew up a little bit of it. His farm's been frozen again, so he's not making too much money there, but unfortunately no water processors for him, so other players are going to be profiting quite well. And while we were talking, Andreas and Hydroponos take down Adorafield. Those freezes on his farms, unfortunately, proving his undoing. Just didn't have enough to defend himself, unfortunately. So now we've got the race now between Andreas and Hydroponos. Hydroponos slightly in the lead. Perhaps when he buys that second share, he's going to be about equal. Yeah, about equal cash on hand. Andreas, though, is in D+1 debt, which works out 190k, ticking upwards. So debt is going to be a big problem for Andreas. Unless he can get something sorted out, he is going to be at a little bit of a disadvantage, unfortunately. Hydroponos. In stock price is a good $10 a share less. So, Andreas getting a bit aggressive, going straight for Hydroponos. The expensive player seems to be making a lot more money than the scavenger, who just doesn't really have enough claims. And Hydroponos has got a triangle of solar condensers, a triangle of food. He's got some chems and some water. No optimizations, unfortunately. He's just struggling at the moment to keep up, burning so much fuel. Gonna try and pick up synthetic meat, which should help him out. Although sub Adorafield does have a fair amount of farms running. Sub's kind of dominating the farm arena, back into some carbon. Probably more profitable for him. But Andreas at the moment seems to have the upper hand. He's about halfway to buying out Hydroponos. Don't think there's much of a situation here, really, where Andreas is looking in any kind of danger at all. Should be an easy clean-up for him. He's making so much money at the moment, mainly from his iron collectors, doing really, really well from those. Oxygen's not too bad. Food, unfortunately, is loss-making. And iron's barely profitable, so just these iron collectors really coming through for him. Hydroponos does not have any. He's now rotated into some iron collectors, so he's going to be making good money, but nowhere near enough to ward off Andreas G, who is pretty easily going to clean this one up. A little bit delayed there by having to buy into his self just for defensive purposes, but another 100k and it will be game over. Hydroponos could possibly think about cancelling out
The black market is online.
that patent. Is not going to really do anything. Unfortunately, he is pretty much done for. Just a question of time.
Our hackers have compromised the trading servers. Our hackers have compromised the trading servers. Price manipulation begins shortly.
Why, Andreas doing a little hack there, but it's not really needed. He's pretty much got enough money to make the buys straight away. Hydroponis trying to snap up some shares in Zacharus, but too little too late. Just kicking the can down the road a little bit. There we go. Oh. Buys himself a few more seconds, and any minute now, as soon as Andreas sells out of that silicon, he'll have a red button. Here we go. GG. Andreas really cleaning up quite nicely on some of his silicon hacks. O2 and fuel seem to be the best money makers for him. And of course his clever majority buys. Doorfield is doing very well. He's doing very, very well, but those two black markets just shut him down, shut his food down, crucial time. Hydroponis and Doorfield. A couple of patents which didn't really do any good. Excellent. GG.
If we look at it, for example, he has slant drilling, as does Polina, but for Hexapus, what's that getting him? He's getting an extra 0.5 iron here from it, and I believe he is picking up an additional 1 silicon. So it's giving him a total of 1.5 resources is slant drilling. Compare that to Polina for a long time, was pulling in a ton of extra water because of it, still is right now, has been relying on that quite heavily to get water under control. And just in this moment is gaining more resources from it, and also is secure in things like this carbon, things like this silicon that she's in because of it. Just a lot more proper use out of the patents that Polina picked up than we've been seeing out of Hexapus this game.
Between both of Hexapus's pleasure domes, he's making over $1,000 a second. Just want to point that out.
It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money that Hexapus is pulling in from those. Alright, well, there's a nuke, finally, lands on the medium water that Polina was using. But I don't think that's actually going to hurt too bad, because of course Polina has
slant drilling
with more water tiles off to the west. So it's just It does force away some of the water, but let's be honest, it's water that should have been transitioned anyway.
Yep.
Very,
You have
very
a war between Hexapus and Polina. Polina will probably win it.
Yeah, she's just in the best spot. I mean, Trat now making 1,700 a second. She's ahead in terms of stock price. Pretty even in terms of cash. Gameslayer doesn't feel relevant in this battle. He has just never successfully gotten off the ground this game. He does have one optimization center functional. It has almost gotten him an additional claim. He is working on Perfect Steel, which on the surface looks good, but 800 stockpile already, not near as valuable as it would first appear. That should probably be working away on electronics.
Right.
Optimization routine successful.
Extra claim.
Polina is winning the race against Hexapus, despite having left money, simply because Hexapus' stock price is so
It's so
much
high.
cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like John Madden making that statement, but
Well, sometimes it is actually that simple. GameSlayer, you really should use that extra claim. You really should be using this optimization center.
Off-World is a mistake, too expensive.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, electronics up at 614.
180K.
I mean, it's not actually that expensive for him because a large amount of that is going to be wrapped up in this steel. Man, I'm getting some frame drops for some reason here, but that's okay. But yeah, the off-world just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. We are switching into some electronics production now, which seems fairly reasonable. We are upgrading electronics now, which also seems good, but let's be honest, it's quite likely to be too little too late. Polina, 200,000 away from being able to pick up Hexapus, who himself requires 600. Guys, don't found elite. Just...
If you do found elite,
do it better.
Don't found so far away from silicon.
Yeah, that was... Ooh, that's... I didn't get that part. I don't know exactly how difficult it was, but you can see these guys are having to ship silicon from very far away because they did have to pick it up. You have to have silicon. And you can't just ignore one of your upgrade resources, and that feels like what happened this game.
Yeah, Polina is very close to finishing this out, especially after Hexapus sells everything out. Polina can get the buy right now.
Yeah, he was just making himself a little bit less valuable to grab, but it's not going to deter Polina in the slightest.
And it's not going to help Gameslayer enough. Gameslayer has a lot of that money tied up in a second constructing off-world.
Yeah, Gameslayer's just... He's got no money actually sitting around to pick up Polina's stock at this point. And Polina only needs, probably about 678,000 in order to purchase Gameslayer. Honestly, she could pretty easily sell out of those last two stock. This is one big downside for her. She can't sell out of 5 stock and just immediately win the game. But she could sell out of 2 and be very, very close to ending this one.
Just a matter of time before Polina wins it. I think we did see in this game and last game why elites are the least founded faction in this tournament. And I don't think it's because we're playing them wrong.
They're bad. They're bad. That's okay. Play them in 6-player games or 8-player games. They're good then. But yeah, 4-player games, one-on-ones, the elites just aren't going to shine. They don't have time to get their boom economies up and running. There are just so many different pieces they need to fit together in order to really explode in the late game. And 9 times out of 10, they are not going to be given that time, especially at high-level play against the strong scavenger, strong nomad players like we're seeing here, who are just going to be able to overwhelm them quite effectively. And that's what we've seen out of Polina this game. Very targeted, very specific patents picked up by Polina, and very, very good work to go ahead and get that cash advantage needed to pick up Trat, and then that gives the late game staying power against our elites, and we're going to see her be rewarded with a win in just a couple seconds here.
Mm-hmm. Only place that elites are close to being competitive right now would be IO.
IO, and I still argue 6 to 8 player games, I found elite every time just so I can build a pleasure dome. I'll be honest. But good win over to Polina. Gameslayer, everybody going to be throwing out those GGs. She's going to pick it up very nicely. Hexapus did end up being the more valuable subsidiary eventually, as he did not build an off-world. Just want to point that out. I don't know if we've got
potentially
too
an
much more
argument
to
for
talk
picking
about
up
there.
Game Slayer, but no. The only thing I want to say is imagine one of those elites was a scientist and look at those life support prices.
Yeah, I mean, oxygen's just nuts.
Go look at the charts and graphs and look at the history of those life support prices.
Yeah,
They're all very, 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 very high.
No, pretty good.
You could then use your scientist advantage to like rush carbon scrubbing and get in on this ridiculous electronics market. Just there's no reason to found elite when there were, especially after the first elite founded.
Yeah, after the first elite came down. That's the thing, because there were two scientist locations, two really good
scientist
ones.
location.
And you could try and point out, but that water's a little far away from that iron to make it work. No, there were actually only 3 tiles between the iron and the water initial patch, and on top of that, you could pretty easily extend out your steel to then pick up like the water that's adjacent to the iron initially for those 3, and then you can expand up into the other 4 later potentially. It's just, or going, it was so good. It was so good for a scientist, and we didn't see one, and they were punished. Pick scientist.
Yeah, I mean,
it's good.
You do have to be a little bit more careful with not blobbing as a scientist.
These
just
days,
need to put
yeah.
a line of goon squads halfway through your blob just to make it a little bit harder to be completely knocked out of all that production. But still.
And make steel. Make steel is important. We learned that.
Also go into silicon. When there's 3 silicon users on the map and only one of them goes into silicon early.
Yeah, that's
for upgrade.
Problematic, as it turns out. Game Slayer saying, not my fault we had a second elite. Well,
that is true.
But you did pick elite. I'm just saying. Maybe unnecessary. Couldn't afford to build the pleasure dome, says Game Slayer. Here's the problem.
Both of those locations were great elite locations. I disagree.
There is no great elite location.
We did have the good elite location was over here.
No, yeah.
Right
the good elite location is over this way.
In between all of those resources. I mean, it's a little bit, water can be a little bit iffy, but you're guaranteed to get teleportation, even if you have to license it. So that'll solve your water problems long term.
Yeah, I'm founding elite in the southeast corner of this map. If I'm founding elite at all, it's going to be down there. I can get silicon without trouble. I can get aluminum very, very easily, enough because I don't need that much. There's water to the west, water to the north.
He correctly corrected himself.
Oh, I missed it.
He first said they're good scientists, then he said elite, and I was like, actually, I mean scientist.
Okay.
Either that or we ranted on him too hard. One of the two.
Look, this is where I'm ending up elite. If I'm elite this game, it's right here. But I'm not picking elite because I'm picking scientist and ending up over here. I mean, it's just that simple.
Yep.
Oh boy, it was a game. It was interesting.
Was interesting.
But also, I think this was a shining example of if you are elite, it really doesn't matter how much the Pleasure Dome costs. You build it.
Go for it.
You have to build it. It's your one tool. It is your one tool early in the game to actually make some money. You have to be able to use it. You must
$778,000 in entertainment revenue. Exodus.
That's a lot of cash. It's a lot of cash in those pleasure domes. Especially considering he had 2 of them. And he was actually being contested for it this time. So, details.
Anyway, let's throw up the last lobby. We are moving to Io.
Io, we could see some elites here.
And it wouldn't be a terrible idea.
It's excusable. So,
While we wait for our players to fill in, let's take a look at the state of the game. We have a very even day today. 3 for 8 team, 3 for Boosted Pleasure Domes, 2 for Series Cavemen, and 3 for Desperate Housewives. And that just means Boosted Pleasure Dome their lead is staying right now with 41.2 points to Desperate Housewives 35.1.
Well then.
So I mean, if Desperate Housewives sweeps all their matches this round, they could catch up, depending on the adjacency bonuses and where and if there are any of them.
Yep, we'll have to see. Do we have any update on the Tudbak Dermis Relic H-Benign Kanto game? I would just be so amused if Tudbak took it, because then we would be 3-3-3-3.
then to ready up and we'll get going. Let's get Game Slayer in first.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
I've done really well this tournament.
You're very quiet. Can you turn yourself up? I'll turn you up.
Let's see if I can. I don't think I can. How about now? Is there any difference at all? That's all I can do.
Okay, that sounds good. Right.
Okay. Alright.
Should be good. So we got Trat, DT, Yerand, and El Capitan.
Other than El Capitan, this is a very skilled group of players.
I'm sure he can sneak through if he wants to.
I don't know. The only times I've seen him play is when he's ruined my games. Hello everyone, this is me GameSlide99 aka No Brainer, and welcome to King Morgan's stream. Hello King Morgan.
Hello. Phil's being a bit mean on this map. Doesn't look very good, does it?
Now we have El Capitan, Trat, Yerand, and DT. Some very strong players potentially on an awkward map. A lot of ice.
Yeah, so water will be fine, but there's not a huge amount of steel reduction. Well, there's 3 patches maybe. You wouldn't want to go for Nomad, would you? And, well, Elites.
Yeah, so
Could
every
work.
game I've seen today so far has had Nomads, Elite, and Scavenger as an option. Is this just a coincidence, or have you guys been really wanting this now?
Robotic colony founded.
There was talk about using less expansives, because too many expansives, but every game
Colony expanded.
all the maps I've done, I always tried to include Elites, just to encourage people to play them.
Well, no one went into the Nomad to be expected. The Silicon wasn't great. There could have been an Elite there, but they decided not to be. Yaren going with the power play at the very start of the game. Circuit Overload is available. I'm a bit worried about that.
He needs to get some goon squads down there, doesn't he? Pretty sharpish, but I don't know, power doesn't seem to be massively strong. Power colonies though, so I suppose he's hoping it's going to grow. He'll be able to get an edge over everybody else. As soon as some steel mills come down, I bet it'll shoot up a bit.
Alright, Yerand already has his goon squad up, so yeah, that's fine. It's just going to take a long time for him to be able to upgrade, but he will eventually upgrade. Lucky for him, we do have everyone else also into steel. But actually, no, DT is not in steel. He is an elite who has gone for the farms and the water.
Yeah, he's got food elites, which pretty interesting.
I mean, it works. Water farms were very high at the very start of this game, and glass was not.
Yeah, he's in a good position. I think he should make HU level 3 pretty easily.
I mean, if he can survive, he's only up against 3 robots.
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? Can he get over the humps? I mean, he's going to have to get into power at some point.
One of those ways that an elite can really get over that hump is with a pleasure dome, but 3 robots, the pleasure dome is not going to be all that valuable, unfortunately.
No, it's going to be lousy for him. And perhaps...
Especially with Chem's High. Chem's High is the worst thing when you're an elite, seriously.
Yeah, you want those nice cheap chems, don't you? Well, it just gives DT another market to move into though, doesn't it?
Yeah, Evil Trat already trying to stop DT because he realizes that DT has already run away with a lot of this game so far. He's already got to HU3 first. Impressive, but his source of steel is going to run out soon because everyone's in 2 except for him.
Yeah, steel is going to be rising in price pretty significantly, I think. The robots are barely creating enough for themselves, let alone enough to subsidise DT, so... I don't know, he could get a hacker array out, couldn't he? Start surplusing.
Yeah, and also the hacker array surplusing steel kind of cripples robots a bit. It's a very scary thing to do sometimes if you've got a lot of robots against you, because that's where they make all their money.
Yeah, oh definitely, yeah. If you can keep the price of steel low, then the robots are really going to suffer. Because, well, Trat's decided to go into some reactors, which pretty good move. They're going to be reasonably profitable for him. Hello?
New claim is available for auction.
We lost Game Slayer. Oh dear. No, he's still here somewhere, hopefully. It's a claim auction. Trats 8k, that's far too cheap for a claim auction. DT steps in. Let's have a look, let's see what El Capitan's up to. Bit of steel, geothermal plants, brings some water in, quite a long trek for his water to come in, so it's going to be pretty expensive for him.
Well,
Nice
Morgan, I've introduced the players. Good luck, you're on your own now, buddy.
You've come back, that's good.
No, I can't, unfortunately. I can't get into the actual game anymore, unfortunately, so.
Oh, yeah, well, sorry about that. Never mind.
Good luck.
Cheers, buddy. Catch you later. So 32k for a claim, that seems pretty high. Trat's going to have to watch himself, I think, on that one. His debts, it's not too bad, but I can't see any power for him apart from these 3 wind turbines which are coming down, so
Robotic colony expanded.
hopefully there'll be enough. I mean, Yaran's still making good money out of power. The only person to be making power money at the moment. DT wind turbines as well. But still cheap, circuit overloads. Need to get the green squads down. Yaran's into some farms. Pretty much the only thing he really could get into. Should enable him to get into the next HQ. DT with the overloads onto some of Yaran's turbines.
Robotic colony expanded.
Yaran really heavily into power. He's not doing too badly, 300 a second. So it's just ticking in nicely, he should be okay. He's not too far off his upgrades. A little bit more steel, but steel is definitely the problem, and that's shortage on the steel is no good. There will be surpluses. That's going to make it really difficult, especially for DT, who's sitting there, I suppose, making some money, but when he looks at his steel bill, 55k for his steel to upgrade. Not the best situation that you want to be in. Yaran's getting hit. Trat's not too happy with those wind turbines, trying to keep him shut down. Gonna be slow going, I think, for a lot of people. There's Yaran there, HQ4 if he wants it. Trat not too far off. DT, well, quite a way off. Keeping all his money hidden in electronics. The colony obviously kicking up the price.
New land is available for option.
Which is not actually hardly any demand for electronics, so DT just ramping it up himself. Interesting tactic, but still, there we go. Ooh. And he's managed to get his upgrades. Potential HQ level 4 for him if he wants it. Man, I think he's going to be struggling. I'd be interested to see which claims he chooses to bring in. What he chooses to do with his claims. He's put his money back into electronics. Obviously waiting for everybody else to buy up their electronics, the robots for the HQ4, but unfortunately Trat's got his. Yaran has used his, he had some in stock. So DT kind of delaying his upgrade perhaps. Needlessly really. Perhaps he wants to stay at HQ4. At 3, sorry. We shall see. Yaran rotating out of the farms into some chem refineries.
The black market is online.
Was odd. DT, a couple of electrolysis reactors coming down, which is slightly surprising. They don't really seem to be. Fuel is just dead. I think Trat's been obviously selling his down. So hard to see how he's going to make any money off those. Perhaps assuming the price is going to rise because Yaran's got his chem labs down. Couple of chem refineries for himself. Interesting. Not sure I totally agree with that, to be honest, but I'm sure he knows better. Trat, on the other hand, has got a decent amount of steel up and running, making good money off his iron alone. Steel is pretty profitable for him as well. Solar condensers, one chem lab. So everybody wanting to get in on the chemical market, which not too sure how profitable it's going to turn out to be. And Trat having another EMP down on Yerand. Yerand has definitely seen the brunt of Trat's aggression in the black market.
Time to start improving everything.
And Trat's the first to get an optimization center up. And blown up. I can imagine that was DT. Or perhaps Yerand. Oh, Death Tacticus. Hacker Array up for auction. Going to be interesting to see if anybody wants it that much. DT obviously can take the most advantage of it, doing shorts and surpluses at the same time. Depending on how much debt people have got, Trat's 27, I felt that one a little bit cheap. I would like to see that go on for a little bit more money, because I think DT is going to get some serious use out of that. There are spies available, so perhaps we'll see somebody get a spy down, and we got steel surplus coming. Look at that, that is a quick. Was that 14 seconds? That's amazing. So, a food shortage, which is going to benefit DT pretty nicely. Got a decent amount of food going, although he has been the victim of a slowdown strike. We've got patent lab coming up for El Capitan. El Capitan's been keeping up reasonably well with everybody else. Claims not too bad. Doesn't appear to have any power. Oh, he's got the... Yeah, sorry, he's got his...
Market colony expanded.
There it is. Geothermal plants. What are we going to see out of that? Nothing at the moment, I don't think.
The patent lab is constructed. Let's get our science on.
Still deciding what he's going to do with that. Price of chems are really quite high, so it's going to be difficult for him to utilise that patent lab fully. He's gone for carbon scrubbing, but what with the slowdown strike on it, it's going to take a little time to get that completed. Trat is first to HQ level 5. Going into a single glass kiln, joined by a second. He does have some silicon coming in, probably got access to about the best silicon around. Yerand has a little one silicon coming in, so they've got some. Not really going to be able to compete for the silicon based sort of glass or electronics that way. Electronics should be okay, but not too great. Trat definitely seems to have the best of the robots at the moment.
Let the bidding begin.
An energy vault up for auction. Not massively useful to anybody, but for 7k it's probably worth a bid. Wouldn't be a bad pickup. One extra power as a sort of battery, so why not? Cheap as you like. Wow, some major work going on. Dynamite, Yerand on DT's hacker array, and DT on Trat's Trat's optimization center, so some repairs needed over there, I'm thinking. DT managed to get to HQ level 5, got a lot of money still. Not sure, he obviously that food, he's really done well on the food, hacking up the food. Managed to bring steel sort of under control, but Wow, Yaran just bought a huge chunk of steel there for his upgrade. Gone into a couple of solar condensers. Life support's looking reasonably good. Off-world market looking pretty good as well. Oxygen about the best launch. Food's going to be a fantastic launch if they can bring the price down. Yaran's spreading his claims out quite nicely. Going to go into some farms, so Yaran should be making good money soon. Everybody's got money, but nobody seems to be spending it at the moment. Surprised nobody's got a little bit more aggressive with DT. Maybe force him to buy a couple of shares, because he is sitting on a big pile of cash. Going into a pleasure dome down south.
Price manipulation begins shortly.
252 I suppose is not to be sneezed at, but expanding his farms as well. Not seen any optimization centers, so immediately we get 2 come down from him, which he's gonna need them. And he needs to get all his markets all optimised nicely, because he's kind of running out of time. Trat has got a serious amount of cash. Imagine Trat's going to start hacking at some point or another. He has got his hacker array and he's going for a glass hack, possibly followed up by electronics hack. A little bit surprised nobody else is in electronics. It seems that there's pretty good money to be made. Mule might be useful if it goes cheap. If Trap picks it up for 8k, that's going to be a bargain. Even 10k, you're probably getting your money back. There you go, I imagine that's going to go out on either silicon or aluminium. Or maybe Trap's going to save it for a rainy day. Yerand finally moves into some electronics. He's probably one of the first players to move into the electronics market. And people are getting a little bit worried, a lot of them buying up their own stock. El Capitan manages to nab 1 single share of Yerand.
The engineers have advanced our production.
And has a go at what attracts as well, which kinda seems like you're poking the bear. Plenty of hacks going on. Trat's going to make some good money coming out of his glass. He's decided he's going to buy into Yerans, which is probably not a bad idea. Yeran's making good money. He's just been a little bit slow to get up to HQ5 and get everything down. Most of his things are pretty profitable.
The black market is online.
There we go. Potentially his water production is about the most profitable building he's got running. He's good on power. He's making decent power money, but it's just not. There's no wow factor there, unfortunately. Yeah, electronics probably about the best. El Capitan coming along quite nicely, losing a fair amount on his farms there, expanding his electronics capability. Not really sure, got some upgrades going, electronics and water. Yerand has had optimization centers running, although they have been blown up quite a bit. So he's just got the one. Come on, Yerand, miss. You can't. Oh, come on. Used to be able to just click between people. Yerand's actually done really well on some of his optimizations. Chems isn't really so good, they probably need to be rotated at some point.
How could one refuse such a wonderful plot of land?
So I'm going to get into some water. Trat suffering from slowdown strikes. Trat firmly in glass and electronics. Not doing too badly with the old reactors at the back here. And DT has pretty much been left alone, at least lately.
Our hackers have compromised the trading servers.
Wow,
Price
he's,
manipulation begins shortly. Our hackers have compromised the trading servers. Price manipulation begins shortly.
he's definitely enjoying his time with the hacker array. And managed to get perfect food, he's going to get perfect oxygen. And then perfect glass, which should make him some decent money, but he's going to have to rotate into electronics factories at some point, especially after he's queued all these expensive upgrades up. Trat seems to be firmly locked into a battle with Yarand.
Center is ready. Time to start improving everything.
Trat's plenty of optimizations in progress. Got a little bit of power, a little bit of water, a little bit of fuel.
The black market is online.
Kind of surprised electronics hasn't seen a bit more love from him. Getting some of those upgraded would probably have been a good idea. But he's coming along. He seems to be firmly ahead in the race against Yarand. He's going to need 486 to clean up Yarand, whereas Yarand is going to need about 500 to clean up Trat, so Trat halfway there, but a wild card of course is going to be DT. Food launches look pretty darn good at the moment. For DT to move into a off-world market, which he just did, is pretty pricey, 150k. So hopefully a break even on 2 launches, maybe 3, you're definitely in the profit.
Market is online.
So if DT can get away with this, then he's not going to be doing too badly. Especially with his perfect food, he's easily going to be able to launch plenty of food, but I got to wonder whether he's going to run out of time. I mean, Tratz is well up on his little spat with Yarand, but of course El Capitan is sitting on a big, huge pile of cash. Has been overloaded, so he's not going to be making a huge amount of power money. He has picked up El Capitan superconductor, which is going to, I think that's probably what's seen him through up until now. High aluminium up for auction, they're quite a way away from anybody. It's not too bad, it's going to make a decent amount of money. I think it's probably well worth DT snapping this up. He's got 100k debts, so maybe letting it go would have been a little bit better. His off-world market is soon going to be operational. Just the one, though, just the one.
The optimization center is online. Let the plan
El Capitan, if you wanted to buy Yarand, you're looking at 640. If you want to buy Trat, you're looking at 640. So, possible wildcard here from El Capitan. Trat doesn't seem to have been earning a huge amount of money since we last looked at him. Optimization center doesn't really seem to be doing much. He's got optimization spread around. He's worried, it seems, about his power. Kind of losing a little bit on his power. Gets a second pip. So when this is done, he's going to have perfect power production. But again, it's going to take time. And Yarand is still about 100k behind.
Our hackers have compromised the trading servers. Price manipulation begins shortly.
So what do we say? Trat is going to need 520 now. So I know 120k for Trat, which he's basically having to earn by hacking.
The black market is online.
His glass hacks coming through quite nicely. Unfortunately countered by a surplus. So Trat very wisely sells out, but still slowly making money. Yarand is, or was, increasing his stockpile a little bit quicker, so it's going to be quite an interesting race here between Yerand and Tratz.
Our hackers have compromised the trading service. Price manipulation begins shortly.
Yerand making excellent money out of his chem labs. Food's a bit iffy for him, but
Optimization routine successful.
he's there trying to power through with his chems. Chems unfortunately being surplus at the moment, so not much money he's actually making, but Trat, I think, is going to come out on top. Yerand's about 82% of the way to Trat. Trat's about 93% of the way into Yerand, so I can imagine Trat's going to snap up Yerand pretty quick. And DT doesn't really appear to be able. Well, the reason DT hasn't got much cash is because of the obscene amount of off-worlds he's built in. If DT now can grab a share, there we go, grab a share of Trat. And food pretty much dead, so every launch DT is going to get is going to make him 68k profit, launching 3 lots.
Continue to improve.
Now,
Shipment launched. Look at all the money.
I think the pendulum has firmly swung back into DT's court. I don't think that even Trat is going to be able to stand against the elite with 3 off-worlds and some pretty decent optimizations.
Our fortune awaits.
Perfect making power money from his perfect power production, perfect food, perfect O2, perfect glass and electronics. DT I think has pretty much got all the markets covered. All he needs to do is rotate his claims around, just make sure he's making the most profitable things at all times, so whichever way the market swings he's got. Trat's putting up an off-world, but too little too late, I'm afraid. El Capitan's also moved into an off-world, but I really don't think you're going to be able to stand against 3 off-worlds. Launches are just so profitable at the moment. But potentially could be a close race, but
Successful.
I really think the elite has managed to drag the game into Sol 10, and I really don't think you can bet against an elite at this point of the game. DT is into his silicon hacks, just going to make a little bit of extra cash while he waits for his off-world markets to launch his way to victory, which I think the victory is probably going to be with the elite unless Trat and El Capitan start working together to take down DT. Trat moves into a second off-worlds.
Look at all the money.
Yep, there it is coming up, but there's some black market effects. Well, DT's just hidden his around, so you can't see them because they're hidden.
Our methods continue to improve.
Off-world shipment. Look at all the money.
Trat has seen the danger of the elite players, try to buy 1 share in, but I don't think
Who caught the dirty rat trying to break ours?
he's going to be able to do anything, unfortunately. Certainly he's not going to be able to do anything unless he gets the help of El Capitan, and they both work together to take him down.
The off-road market is finished and awaiting orders.
Otherwise, pretty much, launches are still just ridiculous.
Optimization routine successful.
Off-world shipment launched. Look at all the money.
Running 3, so every 20 seconds, DT's having an off-world launch to make a 60k profit. That was a shame.
The black market is online.
And they get it done. El Capitan manages to buy out the elite. Wow, that I did not see coming, I'll be honest. We did say that El Capitan potentially was a wild card,
Look at all the money.
and he saved his pennies and shift bought the elite. Yes, DT, your electronics upgrades were useless, and they were really, really expensive. But a claim's a claim, I suppose. Off-world markets are making 1,000 a second. That is some serious bucks.
Advanced our production.
And El Capitan is very soon going to be seeing the benefits of those off-world markets. The elite is going to be a powerhouse, especially with all these farms and all the upgrades that it's got, and it's launching well. It has 3 off-world markets, but one's broken, so still pretty darn good. I think the El Capitan probably needs to buy that share of Trats just to raise his stock price a little bit. And it looks to me, perhaps, yeah, I mean, Yerand is making fantastic money for Trat as a sub. And the elite at the moment isn't making so much for El Capitan, but as soon as we get these food launches off, that's going to be a huge jump in the money that El Capitan receives as a sub. Trat has got slightly higher share price, but El Capitan is about 140k ahead, and he's stretching that lead a little bit more every time. I think, barring some unforeseen circumstances, El Capitan is probably going to take this. That shock shift buy on Death Tacticus has really paid off for him. He's about 10% between them at the moment, 20% between them now.
Methods continue to improve.
Going to be quite a close race. Yaran, the sub, appears to be making nearly 300k a second, whereas El Capitan's actually receiving half that as his subsidiary, but he does have about 100k, about 50k cash advantage now. Trat's pulling back. Trat actually might come and take this. Yep. I think we're probably seeing Trat winning this one. The share price, I think, is going to win out, and the sub money. The elite's been very slow to improve as a sub.
Look at all the money.
The black market is online.
Now it's up and producing, but that stock price difference is going to be the difference between El Capitan taking the win and Trat taking the win. Trat there, red button any second now. And in the end it wasn't as close. There it is. Trat wins another one. Well done, Trat. Wow. An exciting game. Very surprised the elite didn't power on through there. Sol 12. Wow. GG. Well played, guys. Well played. Interesting game. The off-world's not making as much money as I thought they would be. Capitan really making the money on the steel at the end there. Wow, not often you see steel as the biggest profit centre. Possibly needs to use a little bit more black market. Yeah, as you see the dividend revenue, Trap making double the dividend of El Capitan. Fortunately, perhaps that dynamite on the off-world be really expensive, I think, to repair that off-world given the price of steel, so maybe making the sub repair the off-world slowed it down enough so that dividend revenue was pretty significantly different. Yeah, production and sales. DT being very bold, not going, well, purchasing a little bit of iron, but not really making any steel at all. Capitan. A quick look at the black market. Capitan, hologram, a network virus, 2 goon squads. Everybody else, plenty of black market. Death Tacticus, well, the arrival. Yerand did feel the brunt of Trat's black market attentions early on. The elite, as expected, taking the majority of the optimizations. Trats with a broad spectrum there. The Capitan even getting in the game on some of them. A little bit surprised it didn't really make it into the food market, I don't think. Patents didn't make much of a difference this game, I don't think. Superconductor obviously doing great work for Capitan with that geothermal. And GG. Possibly call it an end there. So, have a quick look at the old spreadsheets. So we're just waiting now for... Oh, the series game has just finished with Dermas winning. So, how does that work out? Let's let Boosted Pleasure Domes have easily taken it 50 points, 50.7 to Desperate Housewives 39.2. Series Cavemen 3rd place on 19, and 18 bringing up the rear with 14. So, GG, well done to Boosted Pleasure Domes, congratulations. Come on, congratulations everybody. Thank you very much all for playing. Thank you very much to Zoltar and Philothantic, Paulina, and everybody else, and Rahi of course, who's done some fantastic artwork for it. Thank you all very much for all your help and for playing in the tournament. It's been great fun. Hopefully everybody's enjoyed it. Cool. Right, I think that pretty much wraps it up from me. I think all the games have finished. They certainly have. Excellent. Good game, everybody who played. Thank you very much for your participation, and I shall catch you another time.
Go ahead and
Your
4-person matches.
Your expected value win rate, all things being equal, is only 25%
Exactly.
per game.
So, now that said, you know, Trat absolutely destroyed that and completely ruined it. But oh boy. Oh man. Well, one of the goals of this, by the way, with doing it on the Stardock stream, was to be able to do prizes associated with it. I'm going to have to decide, probably with you later, Philothantic, how we want to go about that and what we want them to be.
Okay.
My hope is, at minimum, I want to award the best player on the team that won, the one with the most wins. But I'll want to do a little bit more than that. Hopefully, I'll be able to talk about that more on Thursday. But I don't have anything specific to announce related to it at this moment, for a variety of reasons. But we'll figure it out, and I'll probably be in touch with people who have performed well, and be talking to them about it. So be on the lookout.
If you're on Boosted Pleasure Domes, particularly.
Yeah, if you did well on Boosted Pleasure Domes, be on the lookout for some messages from me in the coming week. That said, yeah, I do think Trat is 100% on series, as Year-End says. That was our last game of the tournament. We've been running this for a whole month now.
Yeah, the biggest tournament we've ever attempted in Off-World Trading Company.
The most games by far. I mean, there were 67 games played, I think.
Yep, with 4 players in each game.
Maybe more. Maybe there were more bonus matches than that. Maybe 68 games or so, close to 70, whatever. I am tied for number of wins with Soren, says Games. Well, happened, I guess, is what I'll say about it. But that does wrap up the tournament for us. I am not sure what plans are in the future for other tournaments, but I would expect at least some kind of break after 4 weeks in a row.
There will be a break. We will still, once again, in the future, have a new players tournament just for everybody who has recently picked up Off-World Trading Company, wants to get into the competitive multiplayer scene, but didn't feel like running into Trat or DT or Blues or Polina.
Always a scary prospect. 1v1 tournament tomorrow.
We do have a way to ramp in new players, and then we'll probably have a 1v1 tournament of some sort in the future too. But yeah, not for at least 2, if not 3 weeks.
And of course, if you missed any of the tournament, you want to go back and see other bits of it, VODs are available, I believe some on, I think they're actually all on, or at least most of them are on the Stardock Twitch channel. 3 of them are, I think, at this point. Maybe all of them. Anyway. And then, of course, over on your YouTube channel, Philothanic.
Yes, my YouTube channel. Just search for Philothanic on YouTube. You will find it. The link's too long to think about posting. The rest of them that I've casted will get up there eventually. Morgan's also casted about the same number of games that you have, Zoltar. He's having a little bit of issue getting them over to YouTube, but they are saved on his Twitch profile, and we'll get over there. And then I know a handful of players have streamed their own perspectives. There's plenty of Off-World Trading Company content from this tournament to look at and analyze.
I imagine a lot of it's going to be gathered together on the Discord as well. So
yes, it will. Once it's all up on YouTube, which will probably take 3 weeks in and of itself.
Yeah.
It'll be a nice link on the Discord server under the tournament archives where you can go back and watch every single saved Off-World Trading Company tournament match since the dawn of early access.
Should be fun.
Not many games. You can't say that about many competitive games.
That's true. Oh boy, that is a lot of Off-World to be watching though. So
I wouldn't
encourage you to focus
doing it
on the more
because
recent
the
stuff.
patches have made things way different.
Yeah. Maybe stick to the last few months as it turns out. But hey, if you want to go back and delve into that history, you can. Okay. Well, I think that's just about going to wrap us up for the day. Is there anything else that we need to cover, Philothanic, that we haven't gotten to yet?
No, just thanking everybody who's helped behind the scenes for the tournament. Morgan and I for co-administrating it, and obviously all our casters for casting, and then the players for being willing to participate.
Absolutely, because I think we actually finished each and every game, because we always managed to find enough substitutes to actually get the game to happen.
Double thanks last week for both Soren and Various Varley for actually subbing on short notice when we didn't have enough players.
Very, very kind of them. Okay, well, I don't know what's planned for the stream coming up on Thursday, but I do know there is a plan for one over on twitch.tv/Mohawk Games. Who knows what's going to happen? You guys have been showing up for the tournament matches with those. We might just take a week off from that and do some more standard community queued stuff.
There aren't any more tournament games.
Exactly. So we're going to take a break from organized matches, I should say, and
a chance to get your Beat Zoltar achievement.
Yeah. That'll be pretty easy after all these tournament games where I haven't been playing. So definitely encourage you to show up on Thursday for that. All right. With that, I'm going to start getting wrapped up. So I guess I will talk to you probably whenever we've got the next tournament rolling around, Philothanic.
Yeah, always a pleasure, Zoltar.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming out again today. Okay, guys. That wraps us up for this one. Both the tournament and the stream, as I said, Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern is when we do our standard twitch.tv/Mohawk Games stream. You can show up, come out, get your Beat Zoltar achievement, and maybe eventually we'll be able to twist Soren's arm again, get him to show up so you can get your achievement for beating him too. But for now, we're going to wrap it up. So thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you next time.